I stared at the screen, my reflection a ghost against the cascading lines of code. Each line represented a life, a story, a voice in the cacophony of human existence.
Li Shi, along with Chen Feng, his oldest friend and colleague, had spent years building this, the digital heart of the Global Choice Initiative. It was a daring, some would say reckless attempt to answer the question, could humanity, faced with its own fragility, choose its future?
Across the world, in a bustling apartment overlooking a Roman piazza, I scrolled through the initiative's questions on my tablet. A historian by training, I felt a chill run down my spine. Never before had the entirety of humankind been asked to contemplate its own destiny, to weigh in on matters of life, death, and the very essence of being human. The weight of history, the echoes of past civilizations, seemed to reverberate in the air around me.
Li Shi, in the sterile environment of the command center, felt a similar weight pressing down on him. The anxieties of billions were being channeled into their servers, every click, every hesitation, a testament to the monumental nature of the experiment. Was he playing God? Was this the pinnacle of human hubris or the ultimate act of collective responsibility? He had no answers, only the cold, hard logic of the algorithms he had built. The Global Choice Initiative was born from desperation. Climate change had ravaged the planet, pandemics had swept through populations, and global inequality had reached a breaking point. The old systems had failed. The United Nations, conceived as a beacon of international cooperation, had fractured under the weight of its own contradictions. In the vacuum of leadership, a consortium of scientists, philosophers, and tech entrepreneurs had proposed a radical solution, a global referendum on humanity's future. Using a sophisticated AI-powered platform, every individual on Earth, regardless of age, nationality or creed, would vote on a series of fundamental questions. Should artificial intelligence be granted autonomy? Should genetic engineering be pursued to its full potential? Should humanity colonize other planets, even at the cost of Earth's resources? The stakes could not be higher. The results of the vote would be binding, dictating the course of legislation, resource allocation, and scientific research for generations to come. It was a gamble, a leap of faith in the collective wisdom, or perhaps the collective desperation of humankind.
I ran a hand through my hair, the weight of my responsibility a physical sensation now. The world watched, waited, prayed. The servers hummed with the activity of billions, their hopes and fears, their dreams and anxieties, pouring in like a digital tsunami.
He monitored the data streams, the intricate algorithms sifting through the noise, identifying patterns, mapping the contours of human desire. He had designed this system to be impervious to manipulation, to reflect the true will of humanity.
But what was the true will? Was it the sum of individual desires, often contradictory, often ill-informed? Or was there a deeper collective intelligence, a wisdom of the crowds that would emerge from the chaos?
He looked at Chen Feng, his friend's face etched with the same mixture of excitement and trepidation. They had crossed the Rubicon. There was no turning back. The fate of humanity rested on the choices being made at this very moment, on the whispers of conscience amplified through the global network. The data painted a fascinating, sometimes frightening picture of humanity. On the question of artificial intelligence, the responses were sharply divided. Developed nations accustomed to technological advancement leaned towards cautious optimism, while developing nations, wary of being left behind, expressed deep reservations. The spectre of mass unemployment, of machines surpassing human intellect, loomed large. The debate on genetic engineering was equally fraught. The promise of eradicating diseases, of enhancing human capabilities, was tempered by the fear of unintended consequences, of creating a world divided between the genetically enhanced and the unmodified. Ethical considerations collided with scientific ambition. And then there was the question of space exploration. For some, it represented the ultimate escape, a chance to start anew on a pristine planet. For others, it was a distraction, a dangerous diversion of resources from the more pressing problems facing Earth. The romanticism of space travel clashed with the pragmatism of survival.
Julia watched the live feeds from around the world. the faces a tapestry of hope, fear, and uncertainty. She thought of other pivotal moments in history, of crossroads where the fate of civilizations hung in the balance. The signing of the Magna Carta, the American Revolution, the fall of the Berlin Wall, each event a testament to the unpredictable, often chaotic nature of human progress. She called Li Shi, their usual banter replaced by a somber understanding of the gravity of the situation. "We are at an inflection point," she said, her voice echoing in the silent command center. "The choices made today will reverberate for centuries. We can only hope we have chosen wisely."
Li Shi, surrounded by the hum of servers and the glow of monitors, felt a chill run down his spine. Julia was right. They had entrusted the future to an algorithm, to the collective wisdom of a species often driven by short-term gain and tribal instincts. Was it an act of faith or an act of folly?
Section 6. The Eve of Revelation. One planet, one choice. The deadline for voting was fast approaching. The Global Choice Initiative had captured the world's attention like nothing before. In bustling cities and remote villages, in places of worship and centers of learning, people gathered to discuss, debate, and ultimately to choose. The media was in a frenzy, broadcasting live updates, expert opinions, and heated debates. Social media platforms were flooded with messages, hashtags trending and disappearing with each passing hour. The world held its breath, united in anticipation and trepidation.
The countdown clock ticked down the final seconds.
In the command center, an eerie silence descended.
Li Shi and Chen Feng stood side by side, their faces illuminated by the glow of the main monitor. The world watched with them, a global audience holding its breath. And then it appeared. The results, aggregated and analyzed, materialized on the screen. The percentages flickered, settled and froze. Humanity had spoken. The future, for better or for worse, had been chosen. Section 8. The Unfolding Future. An Unwritten Chapter. The initial shock gave way to a torrent of emotions: elation, disappointment, anger, relief. The results of the global choice were not a clear victory for any one ideology or belief system. Instead, they represented a complex, nuanced reflection of humanity's hopes and fears, its dreams and limitations. In the aftermath, governments and organizations around the world began the gargantuan task of implementing the will of the people. Laws were rewritten, priorities shifted and resources reallocated. The world was changing, slowly at first, but with gathering momentum.
Years later, Li Shi stood before a group of students, the weight of his role in history etched on his face. The Global Choice Initiative had been both a success and a failure. It had given humanity a voice, but it had also exposed the deep divisions and contradictions within. "The future is not predetermined," he said, his voice raspy with age. "It is shaped by the choices we make, individually and collectively." The global choice was just one chapter in the long and complex story of humanity. The responsibility to write the next chapter rests with you.
The students listened, their faces reflecting a mix of hope and uncertainty.
The future stretched before them, a vast and uncharted territory.
The global choice had shown them the power and the peril of collective decision-making. It was now up to them to navigate the path ahead, to shape their destiny in a world forever changed by the echo of that fateful choice.